pleased with the first half.
Oh, I'm certain that Bob is. He's done just about everything. A few little mistakes.
And who carried that football? Was it
Kurt
Johnson?
Yes, but we do have a flag late, kind of behind Kurt. Mustangs are clapping their hands, so it may be something to do with a Benton Harbor infraction.
We'll wait and see what the official is going to indicate. Personal foul against Benton Harbor as Ray White made the stop. Perhaps a late hit out of bounds, you think?
It may have been. It looked like, Joe, the flag was thrown behind the line of scrimmage. Maybe somebody from the Mustangs got an excellent block and somebody got a little bit upset about it, which happens, and they did a little extracurricular down there, and it cost them.
So the penalty factor now moving in the opposite direction. The Mustangs on their last drive were being penalized, and this time it's the Tigers. And the ball all the way up to the 45-yard line on that unsportsmanlike penalty, personal foul.
Where they got out of the hole in a hurry. A couple of great runs, a couple of nice moves, and then, of course, the penalty, and they're right up there where they can do just about what they like.
Clock running at the 7:40 mark here in the second quarter. Portage Central leads it 7-0. And again, they go inside to a quick-hitting Kurt Johnson, and he's up across the 50 before Larry Allen makes the hit.
Boy, that little counter play that they run off of that, where Danny Knight turns around and it looks like he's going to go down the line, and he just makes that quick spin around and hand it back. Has just been an excellent play all night, whether it be to Kurt Johnson or to Marty Williams. And so they're seeing something in the down line of Benton Harbor where they're able to do that.
Mustang offensive line, Nick Roush, the center, makes the key block on that kind of a play, and he's got to block Larry Doyle in there for the Tigers. And here it comes again. Not quite as big a pickup as Johnson slides down again, and Frazier, the big moose on the other end, makes the tackle.
Joe, talking with Greg Flaska, the offensive coordinator for Portage Central, he told me tonight that, or earlier this afternoon, that Benton Harbor, when they run that 5-2, which they're in now, which means 5 down linemen, that they will shade or they'll move over a half a man, meaning the nose guard is over a half a man or over closer to this side if we're looking at it from here. And I think that's why that play is so successful, because they're running right behind Nick Rouse, and Nick's already got the angle for the block.
Good point. 3rd and 3. Dan Knight this time will go on the straight handoff to Marty Williams, and he doesn't go anywhere. Tigers smelled that one out.
Well, they sure did. I think what they did was they were still cocked this way a little bit, but they brought their linebackers and filled that hole in a hurry that we were just talking about that's naturally there. This could be a big play here now. We're talking 4th and a yard and a half, almost 2 yards, just inside your 50-yard line.
Larry Allen coming up quickly on that run read. He's the strong safety, 5'9", 175 pounds. He made the big stop.
Talking confidence in the defense now when Coach Knight goes with the 4th down play.
4th and a long 2, and Knight on the option. The pitch to Williams. He's got the corner. He's got the first down and a lot more to the 30, inside the 20, and driven out of bounds.
I want to tell you, Joe, Dan Knight made that play. He made that fake inside. He came down the line. The defensive end was right there. He hesitated. Instead of pitching right away, he waited until the defensive end came in, which drew everybody else across this side of the line in a little bit, and then he was able to pitch to Marty, and of course then it was a foot race to the corner, and Marty won that.
Sure did. He got up a full head of steam and ran all the way down to the 20-yard line before Pollins and White had to run him out of bounds. So the Mustangs in the driver's seat on this drive, 1st and 10 on the 20. And Dan Knight will sneak once more, and not much there as Doyle wraps him up.
Dan may have thought he saw something a little bit off to the right side again. If Benton Harbor is cheating towards the left or cheating towards the power a little bit in that 5-man front, that he thought maybe he could slip up in there and get a few yards.
Oftentimes, I think, John, that's maybe a call that Dan Knight makes on his own when he gets up to the line of scrimmage, pats his center on the behind and says, I'm going to follow you, make a good block.
Boy, that's for sure, Joe.
2nd and 9 now for the Mustangs on the 19, and here comes that option again, and Springman's got it, and he's got a touchdown.
Well, there we talk about putting a quick guy in there. Shane Springman that time, and of course Danny just got the ball right to him right away. It's an open. It's another credit to the defensive or the offensive line being able to make that block so Dan can hand that ball off to Shane, and of course with his speed, he's in the backfield right now.
He sure is, the leading rusher on the JV team a year ago, and he showed you why. 19-yard touchdown. And Jim Brayton will be in to attempt the extra point. Our score, Portage Central 13 and Benton Harbor nothing. The snap and the kick is up. And no good. Where'd he miss that?
Boy, I couldn't tell. Unless it was short, it certainly looked good from our angle. Of course, we don't have the best angle, and the referees have of course, right where they need to be. We're getting from our statistician, Bill Frakes, that it was a little bit off to the right, he thought. I do have a question for you, Joe. Is Jeff Vine hurt tonight?
I don't know. He's been the kicker in most of the games we've seen, but I will tell you this. When I saw the films of the Lansing game, the first game of the year, Jim Brayton was the kicker.
Okay.
So it's possible that he's just won the job back, so to speak.
He may very well.
At any rate, it's 13-0 Portage Central. If you're just joining us, Mustangs scored on their first possession. Dan Knight, 30-yard touchdown on the option. And the second touchdown coming on Springman's 19-yard scamper.
Figure out an idea whether Jeff Vine is hurt. Jeff's going to kick off instead of Bobby Pop this time.
So that means we're going to see a deep kick this time?
We may very well.
As opposed to the squibber? And what do you know? He kicks it deep. Fielded on the 15-yard line, and here comes Benton Harbor. Oh, my. Who was in on that stop? Canellis or Canerva?
We may have both of them in there, Joe.
I think it was Canerva, 62. Really laid the pads on him, and we could hear it all the way upstairs.
Yeah, Tony Marshall took it. He got into the wedge, and there was nothing in the wedge, so he thought he'd slip a little bit outside, and it was obvious there wasn't anything outside either except Mustang jerseys.
If you'd like to become involved with Portage Cable Access programming, call the number on your screen, 329-7260. First and 10, Benton Harbor on the 30. They trail 13-0. And the quarterback is Harden again, and he's got Williams, and Williams has a first down. Steps out of bounds across the 40, call it the 42. Terry Martin and Chris Norman there to bang him out.
Joe, this is one of Benton Harbor's favorite pass plays. They have that wide receiver out there and then the tight end. They run the wide receiver, which tries to move the deep back out of the area and then just slip that the tight end into that open zone a little bit. If the linebacker doesn't get over there in a hurry, they get the ball to him, and he's a good enough back, or a good enough runner, that is, to be like a back and to be able to pick up good yardage.
And if you saw our pregame show Chalk Talk, you found out that they throw to him quite frequently. This time the quarterback is Whitehead. He's got it on the option. Pitch back, nice catch over there by, I think that's Chris Carr, and he's across the 45-yard line.
Excellent play by Carr to make what could have been a potential disaster into a 3-yard gain.
Well, I tell you, it's dangerous when you pitch that football, especially when you pitch it behind the runner. Official timeout, an equipment timeout. Looks like Norman dropped his mouth guard. Tigers are ready to go. 2nd and 7 on their own 45. Bates and Carr in the backfield, and Harden in the ballgame at quarterback to throw. He's hit as he throws, and it's incomplete.
I think Harden may have just been trying to get rid of the ball at that point. There wasn't a receiver real close. You saw Chris Carr out there, but he was heading away from the ball. He wasn't really cutting or anywhere near the football. And the quarterback at that point just decided, well, we'll throw it out into the turf a little bit and come back and regroup on 3rd down.
I tell you who also influenced his decision to throw, and that was Doug Roberts, who was bearing down on him.
An awful big human to be coming down on you when you're trying to throw the ball.
3rd and 7 on the draw, fakes it this time, and the screen pass out there, complete. Chris Carr on the little screen pass from Whitehead, the quarterback, and I think he's got a first down.
Awful lot of action on that one, Joe. When you fake the draw first, which sort of will hold people in there, and then you run the screen to the side, but it certainly worked well for Benton Harbor, and they got that first down. They got out of bounds. They stopped the clock, and with 3 minutes and 43 seconds to go, they're on the move.
They're slow to move the chains. I don't think they got it. Maybe now there they go, moving the chains. 1st and 10. Ball on the Mustang 45. Harden, the quarterback, and he'll roll right and throw underneath. And there's Brewer, and he's hit by Kalinsky and Norman, but he has another nifty gain.
Looks to me like the Tigers have figured out that they can throw underneath a little bit, Joe, and in a situation where you've got 3.5 minutes to go and you're moving the ball, but you have plenty of time. Continue to throw underneath. Continue to get those 6 to 10 yard gains. and see if you can't move it down and score.
Well, they picked up 8 on that one, and perhaps they found the weakness in that Mustang defense. 2nd and 2. This time it's Whitehead handing off to Bates, and Roberts had that one smelled out, along with Munson, and it's Carr, not Bates, the ball carrier.
Nice play by Doug Roberts, the whole down line, but of course Doug getting right in there and stymieing that, shutting it right off, right at the line of scrimmage or close. That was kind of the type of situation where Benton Harbor did have it down to play with when it's 2nd and a little less than 2, and now it's 3rd and a little less than 2.
So what do you do now? Do you run or do you throw?
Boy, that puts him in a spot just because of the timing.
Well, Whitehead stays in the ballgame, but he trips, and Munson's right there to bury him, although I think he was down anyway once his knee hit.
Boy, I think he did. He hit early. It looked like a situation where he was going to do some kind of a, well, it wasn't really reverse, what you call a naked rollout, where he's going to get out of the way, and if he has the opportunity to run and get the first down, he will. Otherwise, he had Tony Marshall out there running a pattern to the offside or the weak side, but of course tripping him up, or tripping anyway, and falling down pretty much stymied the whole situation.
Well, and he wanted to go for the first down, but his coach said, no, we'll punt it as we're down to the 2-minute mark of the first half, and we've got penalty flags all over the place. You going to be 3 for 3?
I'm not sure. I would guess at this point that, well, I'm not going to guess. They've already signaled it.
It's an illegal receiver downfield. Why don't you explain what happens on the punt, John, as far as who could go down before the ball's kicked?
Well, only the wideouts can go down, but I'm not sure how they can call that because they blew the whistle right as the ball was being snapped, and I'm not sure. It may be an illegal formation, Joe, do you think?
No, we'll have to find out at halftime, but I thought he gave the signal for an illegal man downfield. In any case, it'll back him up, and Fort Central may get better field position. It's a good kick headed for the corner. Kopp makes the fair catch on about the 18. So Fort Central will take over on their own 18 as Chris Norman, the linebacker, perhaps got dinged up a little bit. He's walking slowly over to the sideline, holding his wrist. Doc Cavanaugh and Greg Flasko over there to take a look at him. And that would be a big loss if he's hurt.
Well, it certainly would. Chris plays excellent whenever he's in that ball game. I'm looking at my cheat sheet now on the last referee's call, and I can't find it.
Well, we'll try and find out at halftime what that call was. Dan Knight will look over the situation. 1st and 10 from his own 18. Just over a minute left to play in the half. And Knight will roll out to throw. And he's in trouble, gets the ball away, but a little bit overthrown and intended for Kurt Johnson out of the backfield.
Now they got the clock stopped. They've got 1 minute and 43 seconds to go, Joe. They're somewhere around the 17-yard line. They've got a little bit of room to move a little bit. We may look at something like a draw play in here. Something just to kind of, Benton Harbor is going to be a little bit loose, thinking that Fort Central wants to throw, wants to get the big play. And a draw play might be safe enough and yet loose enough where they can get out where maybe then they can throw the ball.
And I'm a little surprised they did throw it instead of keeping it on the ground to run the clock out. As Knight keeps it himself this time.
No, he got it off to Shane Spring.
Dan Knight looking at a 3rd down and a good 7 yards anyway.
I could try to call another draw play, Joe, but they don't seem to be listening to me downstairs anyway, so maybe we got to wait and see what they're going to do.
3rd and a long 6. Just about to the minute mark here in the first half. Knight will roll out and do the draw to Marty Williams, and Benton Harbor's not fooled. Larry Allen in on the stop quickly. Mustangs short of that first down.
Well, Benton Harbor wants to call timeout now. Fort Central has to punt. There's, of course, a couple of things that can happen. Well, actually, there's 3 things that can happen in this situation. Only one of them good for Fort Central, and that is they get a good kickoff and no return. At this point, Benton Harbor could either block the kick, it could be a poor kick, or they could get an excellent return on it and be in a situation where they could still score before the end of the half.